Hey everyone, this is Leo Young with Impressor Reviews, episode number 6. So, today we'll be reviewing The Flash, Season 3, Episode 3, titled Magenta. So, right off the bat, I want to just say that I'm not going to be using a lot of images in this video, because hopefully I get through it quickly, but mainly because I wanted to focus on Magenta and Jesse Wells in this entire story, because it was about them. There was some like Iris West and Wally West storylines going in the back, but it was mainly about Jesse coming into her own and Magenta. Well, I'll tell you, you'll find out what happens with Magenta over the video. So other than that, let's get straight into the review. So we start off with Alan and Julian in the CCPD, and Barry wants to leave because he has a date with Iris. But Julian's keeping him there until 7 o'clock on the dot. And it's 6:59, 6:58, and right in that moment was the first time we actually see that Barry says, when you have super speed, you kind of view things differently. Things are a little bit faster or slower. Because we don't really hear from that. We just hear him go like, I love my powers. I love being fast. We don't hear him go like the side effects of it. So when it's 7 o'clock, Barry speeds over to Iris, and let's just get straight into the date. It was awkward, but that makes sense because they've really never done this before. Every other time they're hanging out, someone's trying to kill them. So across the street, a little alarm goes off. Barry, done with that. Again, an alarm goes off though, but this time it's on their cell phone. Cisco's telling Barry that someone's breaching into Star Labs via an actual breach. When Barry and Iris head over there, it's Harrison Wells from Earth 2, and he's like, I need some help. And then Jessie just pops out, speeding around. She does this weird little thing where she runs around in a circle. I guess she's losing speed. If not, then that was kind of weird and it makes no sense. But when Wally sees this, he's jealous of Jessie getting her powers when he didn't. Harrison isn't happy about it at all. So Caitlin tells Barry of a new lab called the Speed Lab, and it's not really new. It was actually made in the Flashpoint universe. Just Barry didn't notice it, and with him not noticing it, Wells quickly figures out that Barry once again changed the timeline, and he goes like, "Boy, how many times have I told you this?" So they start with training Jessie, and while she's doing that, Wally leaves. Um, Barry gives Joe a talk on like, "Hey, listen, it's best that he doesn't get powers," and it gives like Joe a hint that Wally had super speed in the Flashpoint universe. Now, they turn over to an abusive relationship with a guy named John, who is Magenta's name is Frankie, so we're gonna call her Frankie and Magenta, and you'll see why later in about a quick second, actually. So, he's abusive to her. He like threatens her, and she just like shuts down. And when she does that, she shows that she has a dual personality, and Magenta is the other side of that dual personality. So she attacks him, like blowing up a steel lamp. Anyways, somewhere the next day in CCPD, Iris meets with Barry, and they talk about how all this stuff is starting to like add up, like all the metahumans and alchemy. And down below, Joe is like going over it with Frankie about her father's injuries, and she tells him that she has little like blackouts. So he meets up with Barry. Barry gives the idea that the metahuman had super strength, but Julian comes in with another idea and basically goes like, "Yeah, this person has a different type of ability." And he quickly has a suspicion about Frankie, so he goes over and he takes the glass of water she's using. He looks over her DNA. Back in Star Labs, the others are training with Jesse, and Cisco and Caitlin are talking to Harrison, and he's freaking out about his daughter. He's actually trying to have the others talk to her not to do it. He even like bakes to Caitlin. He does the little hand cross thing like he's praying to Jesus. He's like, "Caitlin, please, baby, please help me out." It's a really funny scene. So we quickly switch over to the GCPD, and this is where things are starting to look like the trailer we all saw, or some of us saw. And Well, Joe is trying to talk to Wally about his powers, and he's hopeful. Wally's hopeful, but Joe wants to like go like, "You don't need powers to help people." Now upstairs in the CSI department, Julian found out Frankie is a metahuman, so he races downstairs and calls her out. Bringing her stress, he activates the Magenta personality, and that's basically where everything goes down. Magenta nearly crushes him, Flash comes in, saves Julian, runs downstairs to take out Frankie, and he calls Alchemy's name, and Frankie starts taking over her personality. But Magenta comes back, throws a police car, and Flash has to save him, letting Magenta escape. So they have a meeting at Star Labs about Frankie and her powers, and it's mainly about her personality. Cisco brings up Alchemy to Wells and explains how this is all going down. Uh, and like Harrison scolds Flash for doing it, but Jesse's quick to get suited up to go help fight or find Magenta. So he asks Caitlin one last time to talk with her. So they have a little meeting in the core, and they have like a weird chat. Jesse brings up the fact that she's a girl. That's why they don't want her going out. But uh, when Caitlin brings up it's not, she figures out that it's her dad who's set them up for this. So she races over to see. Well, not race, but she goes over, has a little argument, and she speeds out. Now this is when we see Magenta finding Alchemy again in that weird area. And it's just a little quick talk, and it's basically Magenta saying she wants to get rid of Frankie's personality. Now, Wally goes to talk with Jesse in the streets of, well, not the streets, but like the city, and she gives him the story of how she became, Jesse Quick. Well, she's not Jesse Quick yet, but she says that she was almost hit by a car. And then this is when we all start, like, the scene turns sour, because Wally walks into the middle of the street to gain his powers, because when they came over, Harrison is, like, frantically saying, well, there's so many factors that could, like, put into becoming a metahuman, and like stress is one of them. So he's thinking like if he gets in front of that car, his powers will activate. She steps in and she saves him. Now Wally gets angry at him. Wally gets angry at her. No, Jesse gets angry at Wally. Wally gets angry at Jesse. Then Barry gets angry at Wally, and so does Joe. Jesse gets angry at Harrison. Caitlin gets angry at Harrison. Basically, everybody is angry with each other except for Cisco and Iris. They're not. She's not in. But down in the speed lab, Barry and Harrison have a little chat about their mistakes. Now, as this is going on, Iris is meeting with Frankie's stepfather, and he openly says he's going to hurt her for what he did to her, or what she did to him. And Iris figures out Magenta will be coming back for round 2, and she does, but she goes overkill. This little 14-year-old frail girl, I won't lie, she's kind of cute. Don't ask my age. She picks up a tanker ship, and she's lifting it above the city. So Iris presses this little panic button, which they installed in the new universe because everyone kept getting captured. So this is a lot more complicated than Flash has ever dealt with because it's not like Reverse Flash or anything, and he can't go back in time to undo this. So he goes to the rooftop and he starts running in circles to create a wind propeller to stop the ship from falling on the hospital, saving her father and everyone inside the building. So, unable to save the hospital and stop Magenta, Harrison sends Jesse out to help him. And he gives her the legendary "Run, Jesse, run. Run, Jesse, run." So, Flash goes down to talk to Magenta as Jesse comes to take his place doing the wind propeller. And he gets Frankie's personality to take over. And as this is going on, well, they save the city. Frankie moves the tanker, so she also controls her powers. So they take Frankie over to Star Labs and give her news about her father. And just being sure, Flash asks her if she remembers how she got her powers. And Frankie just says that she remembers seeing the Flashpoint universe and seeing Magenta. So Caitlin comes in and says they gave her a good home in Keystone. And that's the end of the, basically, currently the end of the Magenta run. So Harrison meets down with his daughter in the breach room, congratulating her and giving her the name Jesse Quick. Now, Harrison says they'll be sticking around for a few days, and then he gives her an outfit created by the people at Star Labs, Cisco and Caitlin. Quick note is Iris and Barry try dating one more time, and it works because Barry goes like, we need to basically accept I'm the Flash. I have powers. And that's where the episode ends. It actually ends on a happy note. It starts off bland, literally, goes through excitingly, ends happily. And this is where everything goes, like, it turns weird. The final scene is Julian, Joe, and Barry at the CCPD watching a report video from Edward Claris, the rival's cell. And something killed him. Yes, the rival is dead. Do not expect him to come back to fight Jay. Something with incredible powers went in, and they couldn't even see who did it. It was made of pure light. So, I'll put that in my personal thoughts, but other than that, this is actually done. So stay tuned for my personal thoughts, and thanks. See ya. Alright, so I just want to start off by saying I don't really need to add these personal thought videos, but it feels good to get my 2 cents in on every review I do. So, ignore the person in the background if you can hear them. So, I want to start off with that Barry and Iris's relationship is actually working, and that's done. Quick. To the point. They don't have to do all that, oh, I'm so sorry, I love you, time travel. Oh, I'm so sorry, I love you, time travel. Now it's, oh, I'm so sorry, I love you. I love you for who you are too, Barry. The reason I gave Iris a deeper voice is a scene where Joe basically calls Barry a second daughter. And it was a joke, but it's still too funny to pass up. Now, another thing I noticed is the lightning on Jesse was different from the lightning on Barry. Has anyone else been noticing that? Like, if you know the story of the Speed Force, there's only been really two forms of lightning. There's been yellow and red. This blue lightning crap, I think they got it from the comic book where the Flash came back from the future. Basically, in the comics, blue lightning means that every time you run, you lose more time. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. I guess to some people it did. To them, in the CW, blue lightning means you're faster and you're going to die. You're basically about to run into non-existence. But thing about it was I was looking at it. Barry's lightning is orange, like reddish orange, while Jesse looks like yellow lightning. Like I think they're taking that liberty off of the Flash comic books, because if you look like in the Rebirth, the Flash's lightning, his lightning is like orange too, but there are some other people with red lightning and some other people with like yellow lightning, like lightning. I can't really explain it, but it's yellow and it's orange and it's red. So far, those are the only three, and then there's blue. So far, those are the only three colors we've seen, and I wonder if like the lightning does change, depending on who it hit. It would have been like awesome to see that Barry's lightning started off yellow, but as he got more powerful, it got orange. So like the stronger you are, the darker it becomes, like the dark side of the force. Now the final thing was when I saw the rival death scene, I was very surprised that they killed him off. But it's what and how he died. Like they said he died before he even hit the ground. So the Flash, like how he died was a light came in and started like tossing around. And when I say a light, like it literally looked like a ball of light. Like Dr. Light could have been the one who killed him, and I would not be surprised just because of how bright the attacker was. Now they didn't actually see who it was. They didn't slow it down. I guess in the next like episode we'll see them slow down the scene where he's fighting. But other than that, like it could be Savitar just because of how fast he was moving, but it could also still be the Dominators. Savitar could be working for or with the Dominators. We never know. We have a couple more episodes before the 4-night crossover, and when that ends, like all of our answers will be set, and Supergirl will be with the CW universe. Now, really, that's about it. I can't wait for next week because Mirror Master is one of my favorite rogue villains. It's in this order: Weather Wizard, Captain Cold, Mirror Master. And if you don't know, the thing about it is Mirror Master is trying to kill Captain Cold. Captain Cold. And if you watch Legends, you know Captain Cold is dead. So expect some reverse flashing. That's going to be a verb from now on. But yeah, other than that, I just realized I keep saying other than that, and this is about it. That's the end of my Leo's thoughts. I really hope you enjoy. I really hope you do agree with them. But I'll see you I'll see you tomorrow for Arrow episode. I believe this is 3. So other than that, have a nice night. Subscribe, like, share, comment.